Welcome back in. Welcome back in. It is the night before Thanksgiving. We're back to answer all of your Week 13 starter sets for the week. So let's just get right to it. We already got some questions in the chat. Would you flex Jameson Williams or Devin Neal this week? I would probably go Jameson Williams. I think he's probably a little bit safer of a bet, even though it seems crazy considering he just scored a whopping 0 last week. I like Devin Neal. I think he's like an interesting flex play this week, but I would still probably go Jameson Williams in this matchup against the Packers tomorrow. Odunze or Mechie, it shouldn't even be a question, right? I mean, it's crazy how good Odunze was to start the year. But I would still go Rome Odunze here on this one. Dak or Knicks this week? How worried should I be with injuries to Devon Smith and Metcalf? Wide receiver room running a tad thin too. So first, this would be Dak. So I'm gonna go Dak. I don't mind Bo Nix. It does worry me a little bit with Bo Nix about Commanders. It doesn't sound like we thought maybe Jane Daniels was gonna be able to play this week. But it sounds like it's going to be a long shot for him to play. It is a really good matchup. The Commanders do struggle against opposing quarterbacks. They allow the eighth most fantasy points to quarterbacks. But this matchup tomorrow with the Chiefs, it is the highest total on the entire slate of games. The Chiefs are very much a pass funnel, or much more of a pass funnel, I should say. They are very good against the run. I mean, only James Cook has got there against them. So I think this is going to have to be a game that the Cowboys are going to have to throw the ball at a very high rate. I think both of these offenses are going to throw the ball a lot between the Chiefs and the Cowboys. So I would go Dak Prescott here over Bo Nix. Like I said, great matchup for Bo Nix. It's just I don't know how much they actually run the ball or throw the ball. I feel like this is a game where they don't really need to throw the ball all that much against the Commanders at home. So I would go there. And then as far as your other questions, how worried should I be with injuries to Devonta Smith and Metcalf? I think they're going to be. I think at least Metcalf or Devonta Smith should be fine. Metcalf, it sounds like he might be okay as well in this matchup against the Bills on Sunday. Um, but it really just come down to options, to be honest with you. Like Metcalf is super boomer bust. So it really would come down to what other option you have. EC, dumpster diving, need an RB2, PPR, start one. Chris Rodriguez, Tootin, Sean Tucker, Brian Robinson, Jaleel McLaughlin, David Pierce, or Oscar Estime. Do any of the three get significant roles in their offenses? So Pierce won't. I don't even think Pierce plays. He's probably going to be inactive tomorrow just because they just signed him and he just got to start practicing. And they don't even practice at all whenever it comes to, uh, you know, whenever you have Thursday games to do walkthrough, stuff like that. Like you're just installing stuff on a short week. And so I don't expect Pierce to probably even be active for that one. But I don't know what his role is going to be moving forward because it's kind of an interesting spot with him because there were like 6 or 7 other teams that were interested in signing him that were offering him contracts and chose the Chiefs. So it makes me feel like that they promised him something. Now, I don't know what that's going to be, but I think he's like an interesting stash. But like as far as like having to play somebody, like it sounds like Bucky Irving should be back this week, but it sounds like some of the speculation is that he's going to be on like a snap count. We'll see on that, but it makes it hard to trust. Chris Rodriguez, it's a not a good matchup against the Broncos. He is the starting running back, but what worries you is they fall behind pretty quickly. He probably gets game scripted out of this offense, right? And it's probably more Jeremy McNichols than it is anything. Tootin would be the one that you'd be like, okay, he makes sense, But then last week he goes back to we get back to Travis Etienne being the bell cow, and Tootin really only saw like 7 or 8 carries. Now I will say though, when it comes to Bashal Tootin, that he does become a little bit more of an interesting play because they are playing the Titans. Should be a game that they're able to control and be able to run the ball a lot. And we know that's really what the Titans want to do, and so I would probably go Bashal Tootin of all the options you have here. I think he's the one that probably just makes the most sense. I would say Sean Tucker, but again, with Bucky Irving back or likely back, like it's just I don't have any idea how much even run he gets. And then PPR start two: Pittman, Sutton, and Brian Thomas Jr. I'd probably go the first two. I want to see what this role is going to look like for Brian Thomas if he comes back. He got in another limited practice today. I don't know how quick they're going to want to run him back. Still getting limited practices in. It's like what 2 weeks now of limited practices, but really want to see him get upgraded to full. Felt like he probably would have been full by now, but the fact that he came out on Wednesday again and is limited, we'll see. It's just the same thing over and over again. So I'd probably go Pittman and I'd probably go Sutton. Yeah, I would have Loop over Dicker. One, game environment's great. Home matchup. Obviously one of the worst defenses in the league. It's the Bengals. I think there's going to be a lot of points. Should be able to score a lot of points. Again, another matchup that has a very high game total. This total is like a 51 point total, just under the Chiefs game. So really like that spot here. Obviously I like Dicker as well. I have him as top five kicker as well. I just prefer Tyler Loop here. Who's going to start a flex and tight end? Jitty Walker, Chase Collins are my starters. I have Wandale, Addison, Monongai, Tootin, Charbonnet. Tight ends, I have Andrews, Juwan, and Kincaid. I mean, if Dalton Kincaid is back, I would go Dalton Kincaid pretty easily. I just don't know if he's going to play or not. So then I probably go Mark Andrews, honestly, at tight end. So let's see. So we have to remember this matchup here against the Bengals. Like this is the matchup we want. Like every week, if you have a tight end that goes up against the Bengals, you want them. They just look at Hunter Henry's a great example. Hunter Henry hadn't really done nothing all year, or not, I should say all year, but he hadn't done nothing in weeks. Like anything of significance, like a big week, a spike week, and he comes out last week and puts up a monster day. Like that's what the Bengals do. The Bengals are just terrible against tight ends, just historically bad. So like I want tight ends against the Bengals, and I think this game is going to produce a lot of points, and so I think Mark Andrews is a really strong play. I have higher on Isaiah. I'm high on Isaiah Likely as well. I think both of these guys are going to get some run tomorrow night, and so I like both of them. But in this situation, I would go Mark Andrews. And as far as your flex is concerned, I would go with Wandale Robinson. Otten or Strange. It's gonna be Brenton Strange for me. I think it's covered. But I have Brenton Strange at tight end 11. So I would go Brenton Strange over Cade Otten. The reason I have Cade Otten so low, it's mainly because I don't think Baker Mayfield's going to play in this spot here against the Cardinals. I think it's probably going to be Teddy Bridgewater. We'll see. Maybe Baker does end up going. If he does, I probably bump him up some. But I still have concerns about Baker Mayfield and injury. It's an AC sprain, but it's in his non-throwing shoulder, so that's a plus. So it'd be like a pain management thing. But I would just go Brenton Strange. We saw him last week. I mean, he's kind of the safety valve for Trevor Lawrence. Like I said, and I'm skeptical that Brian Thomas Jr. plays, so I think that's even better for Brenton Strange. Burrow or Daniel Jones? I'm going to go Burrow. I know it's tough trusting Burrow coming off, his first game. He's a traditional slow starter. Is he rusty? He has gotten a few weeks of practice in, so that's a plus for him. But I would still go Burrow instead of going Daniel Jones against the Houston Texans defense. Daniel Jones has kind of started to regress, kind of started to look a little bit more like the old Daniel Jones. And I just have an incredible amount of respect for the Houston Texans defense. Like I think it is the best defense in the league. And they are going to be able to get pressure on him. And that is going to be problems for Daniel Jones. And so I just don't, I'm not really all that excited to play Daniel Jones. So I would go Joe Burrow. Bo Nix, Brissett, and Burrow. So it's gonna be. I would still probably go Burrow here with Jamar Chase back, obviously from suspension, and it is a must-win game. I mean, the Bengals. I mean, they don't really have a great shot at making the playoffs. But they have like a slim chance, and obviously, so I would go Burrow. I like Brissett as well. Obviously, I have his top 10 quarterback. I'm a little bit. I'm somewhat hesitant with him just because if Baker Mayfield doesn't play, and I know the Cardinals defense hasn't been great recently, but at the same time, like with Teddy Bridgewater out there and as banged up as this entire team is, do the Cardinals actually need to do as much? Like, are the Cardinals able to build a lead and not have to throw the ball at a high rate? So I like Brissett. It's a really great matchup. The Bucks have been absolutely terrible against opposing quarterbacks, especially recently. Their last 5 weeks, they've actually allowed the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks, and by more than 2 fantasy points per game to opposing quarterbacks. So it is a great spot. They're allowing 280 passing yards per game, over almost 3 passing touchdowns per game to quarterback. So Brissett is a really good play. I think I would probably say he's probably the safer play just because we know kind of what to expect from him. It does sound like Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to play. He did return to practice today, so that's a plus as well. It sounds like he could be back, but I still would probably go with Joe Burrow. Jason, set my lineup this week: one quarterback, two running backs, three wide receivers, a tight end, two flex. So quarterback, I would go Joe Burrow. Running back, we're gonna go Rico Dowdle. I don't love it. I'll be honest. I'm a little bit lower on Rico this week. It's mainly because they're playing the Rams, and the Rams' run defense is really good. But I do think they're going to try to have a little bit more of a commitment to the run and try to play a little more ball control because they just did not want to run the ball against the 49ers, which was wild last week. But I would still go Rico Dowdle here, and then Hampton's the one I don't know. Like, I don't know if he's going to play. I know he was designated to return here. I would go Hampton if he's back. If not, then just go Kamani Vidal at running back because I don't. Yeah, and then a wide receiver, we're gonna go Puka, Nico, Tet, and then Wandale Robinson in the flex. Oh, two flex. Wandale and Khalil Shakir. And then you tight end. Okay, it's Tyler Warren, so we don't even need a tight end. So yeah, Burrow, Rico, Hampton if he plays, Vidal if he doesn't, and then Puka, Nico, Tet, Wandale, and Shakir for me. Is Jade Daniels worth picking up? I currently have Joe Burrow and Bo Nix as quarterbacks. I don't think you need him over what you have, honestly. I guess if you wanted to drop Bo Nix for him, I'd probably be okay with that. But I don't know really what to expect at this point from this Commanders offense this year. They've just done a grave disservice to Jane Daniels in his second year. It's crazy just how good he looked last year to how it's been this year for him. But I mean, it does sound like Terry McLaurin's going to be back soon, so that's a plus too. He got a limited practice in. I would bet he's out this week. Just guessing. Just probably get him work back in, especially with all the injuries he suffered. But so I would guess though that McLaurin will be back next week, and the Commanders do have some after this Broncos game. The Commanders do have some pretty good matchups coming up where I could definitely see myself wanting to play uh, Jane Daniels because after this week they have the Broncos. They got the Vikings, which is not a bad matchup. Then the Giants, which is a great matchup. The Eagles, that's like middle of the road. I mean, it's not a great matchup by any means, but it's not terrible. And then the Cowboys again. So they do have some matchups here where I could see myself wanting to play Jane Daniels. So a lot of this one quarterback, two running backs, two wide receivers, a tight end, and a flex. Not the same team. So again, I would go Burrow here over the options you have. Running backs, I would go Ashton Genty and James Cook. Wide receiver, Amon Ra, obviously, Waddle and Pittman. And then at flex, I would go or Lad. I don't think I said Pittman. So yeah, it would be Amon Ra, Waddle, and Lad. And then in flex, I would go. I would love to say Jalen Warren, but the way they've been working in Kenneth Gainwell, and if they fall behind, and that's the problem, is that Kenneth Gainwell's been basically exclusively working as a pass catching back. Um, and if they fall behind to the Bills, then that you're going to see the same thing where Kenneth Gainwell becomes way more valuable. And Jalen Waddle plays more of a secondary role. He does make some sense because it is actually a really good matchup. The Bills have been pretty much terrible against the run all year, and so like Jalen Warren does make some sense in terms of the matchup overall. Pittman obviously don't necessarily love the matchup against the Texans. Shakir, I think, is a solid play, more safer play, doesn't have a high ceiling. And then, like I said with Rico, I just don't love the spot here against the Rams and their defense. So I would go. Give me Pittman and Shakir, I guess. You know, give me Rico Dowdle. I'll go Rico Dowdle. I think if there's at least a scenario where he can score a touchdown, I think it's a higher likelihood. Um, so give me Rico Dowdle, and I will go Michael Pittman for the other. And then a tight end, it's going to be Theo Johnson. Do you start defense against your own players? For example, I have Genty and Chargers D. Is that good this week? I have them. Should I avoid that, or does it matter? No, it's not really that big of a deal. I wouldn't really worry about that. Um, Sometimes I guess there's obviously some negative correlation to it, but I mean Genty can still get there, and the Chargers defense still be a really good play. So, um, I mean, obviously with defenses, we're looking for turnovers, we're looking for sacks, we're looking for touchdowns. On the defensive side of the ball, and the Chargers are in a just incredible spot against a really, really bad, passing game and the Raiders. So, my lineup this week: what quarterback, two running backs, flex, Burrow, Jones. Man, you just have Burrow everywhere. Burrow, Jones, Brissett. It's going to be Burrow, Barkley, Kyron. Wide receiver, we're definitely starting Chase, Nico. Guess we're going to go Sutton. And then at flex, we'll go Javante and Tyrone Tracy. I really like Tyrone Tracy this week. I really do. The Patriots defense has fallen off, like especially their run defense, because of injuries. They've suffered some huge injuries. Milton Williams went down. That was a huge blow to to their run defense. Their run defense was phenomenal heading into last week or before last week, before they suffered those injuries to their defensive line, where they hadn't allowed over 60 yards of rushing in a game to any running back all year. And then we see, what happened to them last week. And so they are very susceptible. Tyrone Tracy has actually played really well and has looked really good again this year. And so, or at least, in the last couple of weeks. So I like Tyrone Tracy a lot. I think this is actually a really good spot for him here in the spot against the Patriots on Monday Night Football. So I want to play. So I do like Tyrone Tracy a lot. EC Fannin or Gatson, Aronde Gatson. I think he's back to being a top 5 tight end. With Amari and Hampton, no one knew who Gatson was until Hampton got hurt. I mean, there's no correlation between those two. I mean, of Hampton getting hurt and then Gatson coming in. I mean, Gatson had started to get some buzz before he blew up. He started to get some run. Obviously, he's a rookie tight end, but there was definitely hype around him coming into the offseason because of his because of for like who he was, how productive he was coming out of college. I think the landing spot was really good. The Chargers don't really have like a true tight end coming into this year, so there was always the hope that maybe he could get some run. But I mean, week 6 or even before that, we started to see an increase in routes. From week 3 to week 5, where he started to jump up in routes, and then he finally had his breakout game in week 6 where he scored. I mean, I would even 7 for 68. and then he kind of went nuclear after that. But it had way more to do with just how poor the tight end position was, and he's a rookie more than anything. But yeah, Gatson is just outside of the last 2 games prior to that. I mean, he's put up some monster weeks too. So who should I stash? Luther Burden, Chris Rodriguez, Jane Reed. It's going to be probably Luther Burden, but I think he has a little bit higher of a ceiling, to be honest. But Jaden Reed's, I think, interesting too. Like, I think if I was ranking him, because Reed's gonna have more immediate impact when he comes back. Like, he's gonna step right into a role where Luther Burden is still like carving out a role. So I'd probably put it Reed, then Burden, and Rodriguez. Like, I think there's gonna be some spots here if Rodriguez can maintain his role. Like I've said, like if you get into the fantasy playoffs, the first week of the fantasy playoffs against the Giants, like that's a great spot. The Giants legitimately have the worst run defense in the league. Like we kind of saw, like with Jahmyr Gibbs. Not that Chris Rodriguez is Jahmyr Gibbs, but he definitely does have some appeal for the first round of the fantasy playoffs because that matchup against the Giants is going to be one where you probably have Chris Rodriguez like a low end RB2 that week. Whenever if he maintains the role, if he's able to do that. So but overall, I'd probably rank it Reed, Burden, then Rodriguez. But it's really close between Burden and Jane Reed. Jackson Dart or Purdy. It's gonna be Dart for me, excuse me. The only concern I have with Jackson Dart, the only concern I have with him, excuse me, is does he maintain the same type of rush role or role on the ground? Because that is what made him so valuable this year. Because if you look at him with Jackson Dart, since taking over, he has averaged 23.3 fantasy points per game. But again, biggest question mark is with him running the ball. Dart has averaged over 3 design runs per game, which is half of his rush attempts per game. Let's not forget, Dart is also only second in rushing touchdowns behind Josh Allen with 7. He's seen 50 or more rushing yards in every game but 2 this year that he started. I don't think Dart just completely abandons the run game, but I would like to see but we'll likely see the Giants coaching staff probably call fewer design runs though for him to try to keep him upright, try to keep him healthy after suffering one concussion and then having to go to the medical tent, I think 3 or 4 times already this year. So it does worry you a little bit, but still, Purdy in this matchup against the Browns, Purdy does not do good against pressure. He never has. He very much, and people aren't going to like this comparison, but he really does kind of remind me of a little bit of Derek Carr, like especially early years Derek Carr, because that's what Derek Carr's always biggest problems were. Because like if you're able to get pressure on Brock Purdy, and I've been saying this for years about him, is that he really crumbles. And Myles Garrett is on an absolute heater this year, and just the amount of pressure they're able to get. And so it does worry me for Purdy. Like I'm just not as high on Brock Purdy this week. I think that maybe some other people will be in this matchup against the Browns. So I would still go Jackson Dart here. If any one of my 2 wide receivers would miss, would you roll out Dobbs, DJ Moore, Trey Tucker, Ricky Pearsall, Mechie, PPR? I guess I'd probably go DJ Moore. Like just talking through it, the Chargers pass defense has been elite this year. They're only allowing like 160 passing yards per game. They're only allowing 60% completion percentage. So like it's not a great spot here for the Raiders passing game. Pearsall is just not. He's not getting any. He's not getting any. He's not seeing any targets at all. Really, since he's come back. So like it makes him very hard to trust. Dobbs is pretty much touchdown or bust, and that's about it. And then Mechie, I know he's been getting there and he's been putting up some production, but I still would trust DJ Moore over John Mechie. Saints or Colts defense? I think give me this. Give me the Saints against the Dolphins. Hopefully the Seahawks can lock it on. I know can lock it on defense this week. That was wild. Like it's not that they were terrible. I think they ended up scoring like 4 fantasy points. Like obviously not what but it was obviously just wasn't what you were looking for against the Titans. And I don't think anybody thought that they were gonna have that kind of issues against the Titans. But the Titans were coming off by. They were able to game plan for them for a couple of weeks. Cam Ward had obviously his best start of the year, but yeah, I mean, this is going to be Max Broswell, starting for the the Vikings this week, and they've already had trouble keeping the quarterbacks upright, and I think he has a field day against Max Brosmer, who's likely going to be the starter this week for the Vikings. And if it's somehow JJ McCarthy, it's going to be really bad. But it's going to be really bad for Max Brosmer, the undrafted free agent. Um, so I wonder if Benson will finally be available this week. That's what I'm thinking, that he'll be back this week. We'll see. He's been getting in. He's getting in practice time and everything else. I would expect him though to be back for this game, but we'll see. Taking dropping Dortch, who would you pick up between DK, Leggett, Mechie, or Ishibas at a standard league? So Ishibas is only going to matter probably for this 1 week, right? Until T. Higgins is back. Because then he goes back down. And really, honestly, he's not as enticing. So, like, if you're desperate for a tight end play this week, Mike Gesicki is a really good play. Gesicki this week, against the Ravens, a good matchup. But in games last year without T. Higgins, which was like 5 games last year. Like in 4 of the 5 games, Mike Gesicki played really well. It was really encouraging last week too in his first game back last week that he basically shadow realmed Noah Fant. He came back, ran 67% of the routes. It was like 29 routes to just 7 for Noah Fant. So, but Gesicki is a really, really, I think, sneaky play this week in terms of like season long stuff. But as far as this is concerned, I would probably pick up DK. Dowdle or Harvey from Chester. Easily RJ Harvey. I really like RJ Harvey this week. I think RJ Harvey is a borderline RB1 for me this week. So as borderline as can get. I have him as RB13. Hey yo. What's up, Super Dave? Hey, you're a big baseball guy. Let me ask you, what are your thoughts on the Cardinals today? Or not Cardinals, the Blue Jays signing Dylan Cease to that 7-year, $210 million deal. I was blown away that he got that much money. I think the dude has so much talent, and like his stuff is nasty and he's reliable, but he's so inconsistent. Anyways, Greg, Pitts or Loveland or Parkinson for tight end. Give me Loveland. I'm not going to chase what Parkinson did last week. So give me Colson Loveland. And I hope at some point that they just unleash Colson Loveland because he looks like a baller. But they just stop giving the routes to Cole Kmet and you just let Colson Loveland get all the work because he needs to be unlocked because he's a stud. He's going to be somebody that we're talking about next year as a weekly just top 5, 6, 7 tight end, I believe. Pitts, Loveland, or Parkinson for oh wait, did we already get that? Oh, the second part. So Loveland and then RB2, Monty, Sean Tucker, or Rodriguez. Oh man. I would just go with Monty and hope that he can score a touchdown tomorrow against the Packers. I mean, unless Bucky was out, then I would go Sean Tucker, but I think Bucky will be back. Need an RB2 in a standard league between Javonte, Travion, Swift, or Woody Marks. Just one, I would go Travion Henderson. It was super, super encouraging to see all of the work that he got last week. Went with Ramondre back. So give me Travion Henderson, even in a standard league. Need a tight end to flex at PPR. Ferguson, Strange, Fannin, Sean Tucker. Give me Ferguson, and then 2 flex. So Strange. I don't love Ferguson either. I'll be honest, but I will say the Chiefs have at times struggled against tight ends. So I would go Ferguson, Strange. And then it comes down to Burden and Pat Bryant. I would probably go Burden. Just because I'm just kind of concerned about, like, how much are the Broncos pushed actually I need to throw the ball. Greg, are you just asking the same question in multiple different ways? Oh, and Devin Neal. Okay. So swap that out. I would just go Devin Neal. I would go Ferguson Strange and Devin Neal. Jose Tet, Jennings, Michael Wilson, Mooney, Mechie, pick two. Tet and Jawan Jennings. If Marvin Harrison is back. If Marvin Harrison's not back, then it's Tet and Michael Wilson. But Michael or Marvin Harrison got it was able to return to practice today, so that I think that's a step in the right direction. We'll see if he's able to return. Yeah, I like that. I want to drop Dorsch for Neal. Yeah, I think that's a good call. I wouldn't be surprised if Alvin Kamara, I don't want to say he doesn't come back this year, but like I think he's at least going to miss a couple weeks for sure. Godwin is droppable. I think it just depends on who you'd be adding. What are your options to add? I mean, if Bucky Irving doesn't play, because you currently have Neal and Tucker in both flex spots, then I think that's fine. But like, I just don't know what the role is going to be. Is it going to be a three-way committee with Bucky Irving, with Bucky, Rashad White, and Sean Tucker? EC, Tracy Jr. or Marks? Oh, it's Tracy for me. Uh, Greg, how many times are we going to ask this question, Greg? Start Kareem Hunt over Dowdle for flex spots. If the Chiefs were on a normal week's rest, I would tell you yes. But two things: Isaiah Pacheco's back. Two, this dude's coming off of like a 30-year-old running back coming off, and like if like they just rode him into the ground against the Colts. I mean, rode him into the ground, and so I don't like. It's going to be interesting what they do with him tomorrow. Like he's certainly going to have a reduced role, but I still think he gets like the short yardage stuff, the goal line stuff, some passing game stuff. So I still think there's like some upside there. It's like a high end flex play, but I would still go Dowdle over him. Dak or Daniel Jones, 6 point. It's easily Dak. I don't want to play Daniel Jones against the Texans defense. I'm guessing that's Jaden Higgins, Parker Washington, or Chris Rodriguez. See, where's with the Jaguars? The Jaguars, like, since they're bye, um they've been way more run heavy. They weren't able to do so much last week because of the way the Cardinals played them and kept it close. It's hard to believe the Titans are going to be able to keep it close with them. Or I can't see them doing it 2 weeks in a row. Maybe they can. But so that's what worries me with Parker Washington. So I would probably go Jaden Higgins, who's been seeing a lot of targets recently. Yeah, Reed is a good pickup. I would agree with that. Brissett or Dart, 6 point passing touchdown leading. Yeah, I would go Brissett there, especially a 6 point passing touchdown league. Kind of already talked about this. I don't know if you're hearing when I talked about it, but with Dart, just some concern that he doesn't run the ball as much, and that has been a huge part of his game. I mean, he is averaging. I mean, he's seeing 50 or more rushing yards in all but 2 games that he started this year, and he has a touchdown in almost every one of them too. So like so much of his production has come from the ground. And you just wonder with him coming off this concussion, do they really try to protect him? and just not have and try to keep him in the pocket and not have him throw the ball or not have him run the ball, which I think hurts him some. I mean, yeah, but Wandell went off with Jameis Winston. And I just want to be the person to say this. It is wild to me that Jameis Winston never gets a starting role in this league. There's plenty of or of quarterbacks that he is better than, and I shouldn't say plenty, like there's like a huge list, but like he certainly deserves to be a starting quarterback for some team. I will say that. Like he is more than capable. Every time he comes in, he's good. He's capable of having these games where he's going to throw 3 or 4 interceptions and he's going to do dumb things, but like, I would love to see another full year of Jameis Winston starting quarterback. Like, he is the most entertaining player, one of the most entertaining players in the league. Like, I just love watching that dude play football. Someone dropped Godwin in my league. It's over for Godwin, isn't it? Especially with Baker's injury. I'm more concerned with Godwin, just more so like what does he have left, or at least like coming back from these significant injuries, he's not going to be the same player. And then with Baker's injuries, and then there's some speculation that Mike Evans could be back week 15. And if that happens with Ibuka back, like how much volume is even going to be there for Chris Godwin? So it really just depends on who you would be dropping him for. Greg, I don't even know if you're still in here, but how many times are we going to post this? Sean Tucker and Pitts, Ravens, Niners, Dolphins defense. Think it's going to be the Dolphins. Yeah. Yeah, give me the Dolphins. Play Dart or Burrow. I would go Burrow. I know there's a lot of uncertainty there with him because we haven't seen him play since week 1. And the Baltimore defense has played better. But only thing I'll say about Baltimore's defense playing better is that they haven't played anybody. The last 4 games they've played since this turnaround, it's been the Jets and it's been the Browns and it's been the Dolphins. Like it hasn't been any great offenses, and so I would still probably go Burrow. If Vincent does come back, do you start him over ETN or Jalen Warren? I would start him over Jalen Warren. I would not start him over ETN at all. As a matter of fact, I have ETN as a. Where's that at? Oh, yeah, right there. Right there. Travis Etienne. I have him as an RB1 this week. But it would be a toss up between Jalen Warren and him. Like, I could make a case for Jalen Warren easily because the Bills are so bad against the run. But I think with Trey Benson, too, it's like, okay, what role is he going to have when he comes back? The Buccaneers have started to struggle against running backs, which used to be their calling card. They're always great against the run. But like, does Trey Benson just come back in and just kind of get the role? Because like with that week he got hurt, like he was getting like all the touches in the backfield. So, but with Jalen Warren is like I said, if they fall behind to the Bills, then it's going to be the Kenneth Gainwell show again. Love or Knicks? I'd go Bo Nix. I hope Harvey's RB13. I think he could be higher than that. I think he could be a top 12 running back. I just couldn't quite get him up to that point. Good move for the Blue Jays. I mean, I think it could be a good move for them. It's just he's so inconsistent all the time. Dylan Cease is. Like he'll have stretches where he looks like a Cy Young, and then he has stretches where he looks like should you consider a move to the bullpen? But 7 years, $210 million is steep. I also wonder if that means They got to go after. They got to re-sign Bo Bichette. Where do you have Achan and Hindi this week? I mean, Achan is the RB1 for me. Maybe I probably didn't have that up whenever you're in here. And I have Travion Henderson as a top 10 running back as well against the Giants. Like we already said, Giants run defense one of the worst in the league. It probably is the worst in the league actually. And Achan's good spot as well. So love both of those guys this week. Are we putting Harvey over Walker? Yes, absolutely. Definitely putting Harvey over Walker. Full PPR for MJ, Marvin Harrison Jr. plays. Start him, Michael Wilson, or Metcalf. I would go with Marvin Harrison Jr. Though I am really interested to see what they do with Michael Wilson now, if Marvin Harrison Jr. is back this week. Because like I mean, he's put up 2 really, really good games. All of a sudden, looks like Jerry Rice out there. All of a sudden, well, it'll be interesting to see how this plays out. But we've also seen that Brissett's able to support, more than 2 pass catchers. I mean, he's done it every week with McBride and Michael Wilson and Greg Dortch. This team just throws the ball at such a high rate. So, Mechie or Ishivas? I would go Ishivas with Joe Burrow, especially with T. Higgins out. Need a wide receiver 3 in standard league between Shaheed, Marvin Harrison Jr., Quentin Johnson, or DK. So in a standard league, I would go Quentin Johnson because we're just hunting for touchdowns, and he's still the goal line red zone threat when they're throwing the ball for the Chargers. Dallas Goedert or Gatson. It's going to be Oronde Gatson. Oronde Gatson's top 5 tight end. Half-point PPR tight end premium. Flexible and Jake Ferguson, Tez, or Worthy. Tight end premium, give me Jake Ferguson. Winston will go down as he's. Tell me you don't get. Tell me that it is not entertaining as hell whenever Jameis Winston plays. And don't get me. Nobody can tell me that there's not teams that couldn't use Jameis Winston as a starting quarterback this year. I mean, we're literally seeing, the Vikings. Imagine if the Vikings had Jameis Winston as their backup quarterback. Like that would have made so much more sense than when them bringing Carson Wentz or the Saints with the terrible quarterback play they've had there this year. Like, I don't know. Like, I just think Jameis Winston. Could you imagine Jameis Winston on the Vikings with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, T.J. Hawkinson? Like, oh my goodness, just pure sex is what it would be with Jameis Winston out there because he is so good for fantasy purposes. Feels like this is the big question this week: Dart or Burrow? I go Burrow. I don't even think you could argue that, to be honest with you, with Jameis Winston over Trevor Lawrence. Trevor Lawrence is not it. Let's put it that way. Should I play Burrow or Herbert? This one I would go Justin Herbert on this one. Great matchup against the Raiders. Loveland or Burden? I would go Colson Loveland. Jameis, yeah, that's another good one too. Jameis on the Cardinals. Yeah, that would be phenomenal. I would love that too. Rico versus the Rams or Devin Neal versus Dolphins. I'm gonna go Rico with Devin Neal. The only concern I have is Taysom Hill. Right? We know once they get down to the goal line and the red zone that they're gonna put Taysom Hill in there for packages. Right? Taysom Hill had 7 carries last week. So like, but the positive was Devin Neal got all the pass catching work too. So that was a big plus. But like he's going to lose touchdown any sort of touchdown upside, which is the same thing that's happened now with Kamara all year because of Taysom Hill. So I would still go Rico over Devin Neal. Someone dropped Jordan Mason. Should I pick him up? I mean, I think it just depends on. I mean, yeah, you can definitely pick him up. But just depends, who would you look? Who would you be dropping to Adam? Let me ask that. Pearsall, Burton, Loveland. I would still go Loveland. If Vincent comes back next week, what kind of workload do you think he is? I think he probably is getting 65, 35, 70, 30, probably. I would guess. But there's probably some scenario, especially with them being out of it. Maybe they just ease them back in, and maybe it's a little bit more of like a 60, 40, 55, 45 to start. Um, but I think it's somewhere right around there. Probably 60, 40 is probably where I would land. Can I see the kicker rankings when you get a chance? I have Fairbairn. We get 4 points for 40 and 50. But, oh, yeah. Let's see. Me. Yeah, old Fairbairn there at the kicker 4. Fairbairn or Dicker rest of the season? I would probably go Fairbairn just because the dude they just ask him to kick so many 40 and 50-yard field goals, especially the 50-yarders. Like, I think he's, like, on pace to lead the league in both of between both of those. Like, he is really good. I think he's also the number 1 kicker in fantasy and fantasy points per game, I believe. I'd have to bring it up. I haven't looked at it in a couple days, but I believe he's the number 1 kicker in fantasy points per game. So it would be Fairbairn over Dicker. Kid MacArthur, pick 3, Harvey, Hampton, Kyron, Javante, Travion, and Devin Neal in a PPR. So it's going to be Harvey for sure, lock, Kyron Williams a lock, and then give me Travion Henderson would be my 3. I say put Marvin Harris Jr. in the slot and let Wilson keep cooking. You could definitely put Marvin Harris Jr. in the power slot role for sure. The thing people have to remember though, like, Wilson plays like a dog, Marvin plays like a kitten. Like, is that I mean they spent a first round pick on him like just last year. Like, they're going to give him every opportunity to succeed. Where Michael Wilson has kind of been an afterthought for the most part. But you have to remember, before Jacoby Brissett, right? Michael Wilson had never posted more than 15 PPR points in a game, and he's been in the league now. It's like I think his 3rd year. So, like, it's not like that we're talking about a small sample size here for Michael Wilson. Now, you can also say that Kyler Murray's been holding him back. Like, that's definitely in the range of outcomes. I mean, because we've already seen it with Trey McBride. Like, we've been wondering why Trey McBride can't score touchdowns and is a low touchdown upside. And then all of a sudden, Jacoby Brissett comes in and the dude just absolutely explodes with tight ends. Like, it's definitely a Kyler Murray problem. So, like, that's definitely in the range of possibility. It wouldn't shock me if Michael Wilson continues to see a heavy target share, and Michael Wilson maybe not, but um, I would still bet on that they're going to give more opportunities to Marvin Harrison because of the draft capital. Drop Sutton or Dunze to roster Omari and stack the wide receiver. I would drop Sutton for Omari and Hampton for sure. What is better for Nico Collins in terms of fantasy? Davis Mills starting or Stroud being back? It's Davis Mills. I mean, Davis Mills is kind of locks onto dudes and he peppers them with targets, where Stroud will just spread it all over the place. And so, like, he just doesn't see as high of a target volume, like, in terms, and as far as Davis Mills to Stroud is concerned. And we've seen it in the last 3 weeks. And I mean, shout out to Davis Mills. Like, because the last time we saw him, he looked terrible. And now this year, like, he's actually played pretty well. And I'm surprised that they didn't try to sneak one more week out of Davis Mills for CJ Stroud. But I do think Davis Mills is probably slightly better for Nico Collins, though. Gatson or Tyler Warren. Now we're getting into some tough areas. Um, Let's see. I'd probably go Tyler Warren, honestly, on that one. It's super close. Let me see. Yeah, I would go Tyler Warren. It is super close between the two of them. Ladd or Michael Wilson? Give me Ladd. I have Ladd as a top 12 wide receiver. OPR running back rankings are wrong because I'm going, oh, well, sorry. So this is what you have to hope for if you're, because Derrick Henry against the Bengals, I mean, he could just put in some serious work against the Bengals. Is you hope the Bengals come out and just put up 17 quick points and it's 17 nothing right out the gate and forces the Ravens to abandon the run and forces them to throw the ball. Like that's how you get there. Achan, I can't do a whole lot for you in terms of that, but Achan has just been really. I mean, just obviously has been really good. Great matchup against the Saints. So uh, yeah, my coworker's a Bills fan. He stopped and talked to me about how fun Winston was tonight. He's rooting for the Giants Monday night. Yeah, the reception, the receiving touchdown he had was awesome too. And it wasn't even just like your normal like he's kind of wide open. They beat him on a gadget play, and he's just sitting out there wide open. He catches it like you see for a lot of quarterbacks. Like he had to break a tackle to get into that end zone. Like that was impressive. And then afterwards, it was hilarious because like, yeah, whatever they need me to do, I'll go play tight end. Like he's just like I said, he's so entertaining if you anytime you listen to him talk, and like he's an incredible teammate. He seems like he'd be like great for any locker room because like he's so uplifting and he's constantly super positive. I actually can't figure out why no team has given him an opportunity. Oh, Jawan, Kyle Pitts, or Strange. Give me Britton Strange. Harvey, oh my goodness. Can we not start two of these guys? Can we only start one? Because it would be ETN, and it's really close. Because I have ETN at 12 and I have Harvey at 13. Let me know if you can start both. Fairbairn is the reason I'll be petitioning 6 points for 60 yards. I really don't understand why that's not a thing. I don't know why it's capped. Like it should just keep going. Like obviously, you're never gonna have a kicker kick a 90-yard field goal, but like we're seeing kickers kick 60-yard field goals now. Like a 60-yarder should count for 6 points. It shouldn't count for five. Like that's bullshit. But I think probably why it's like that is because you just, you know, probably even 5 years ago, it was extremely rare to see any kicker kick a 60-yard field goal and make it. Now we're seeing it with quite regularity, throughout the year. And so, like, you definitely should be. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was pretty confident in me saying that, but I don't ever want to go full in of 100%. I was 100% confident without pulling it up and looking at it. So, but I was pretty confident that Fairbairn was the number one kicker. Also, what's just want to know. Usually we have Cody here, like last year, so we would always talk about this. It's just me here, but is ever if you had to go one or the other, are you turkey or are you a ham person? Like I'm a big ham guy, and some people like scoff at that because like it's Thanksgiving and turkey's supposed to be like the go-to. But like I am not a turkey guy at all. Like I am not a fan unless it's like fried or smoked. Then it's pretty good. But like your traditional turkey in the oven, no thanks. Give me ham all day. I don't understand people that like love turkey. Like ham is phenomenal. Like especially ham from Honey Baked Ham Company is it's like I would have to think about it, like sex or ham from Honey Baked Ham Company. Like it would be a debate. Like, oh man. But yeah, let me know. Junkins or Walker, full PPR. Walker not questionable. Also, Tet Wilson, Nico pick two. I would go Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker will be fine. We kind of saw the same thing last week with him. I expect him to play. Uh, when he popped up last week with like a glute or whatever it was, and he played. So I would bet that he's fine, and especially I don't really care about Wednesday practice. I've already said that. That's really not as big of a deal for as people make it out to be. So I would go Walker over Quinshon Judkins. And then so Nico's a lock for me. I'm guessing Wilson is that Michael Wilson, I'm assuming. If that's Michael Wilson, it's for me it would go if Marvin Harrison was out, it would be Nico and Michael Wilson. But with Marvin Harrison, looks like he's going to be back. If Marvin Harrison plays, I would go Ted. Mark, I wouldn't say it's mental, but like I wouldn't do it. Like especially if you're looking for a home run. I mean, then that is Nico Collins' bag. Like that's what he is. Like Nico Collins is a home run hitter. Like he is somebody that can house call a 60-yard touchdown anytime he gets the ball in his hands. And so like that's what you're looking for. Where Mechie is more like he's probably more likely to get you like 5 for 40 and maybe a score. Like he's capped. Like he doesn't have some incredibly high ceiling, I don't think. Compared to like Nico, he get you 30. Santos or Jake Elliott? It's always going to be Santos. Like Jake Elliott's not like a necessarily a bad kicker. It's just the Eagles will go for it with such high frequency. It takes away a lot of upside for Jake Elliott. Is Quentin Johnson worth playing this week? Depending on your other options, really is what it comes down to. I mean, he's like a low end wide receiver 3. Debo, Franklin, Jennings, Ishavas, Egbuka. PPR pick top 3. I probably still go. I mean, I'm gonna go with Buka. I have him lowered. I have him down as like a low end wide receiver 2. But I would go him. I would go Franklin, and then I would go Jawan Jennings. Nico has a tough D secondary though, Mechie. But I mean, yes and no. Like, I mean, we saw that. I mean, we just saw Rashee Rice go off for 100. What was it, 130 yards against the Colts secondary? Which is they did a lot of stuff that team like that the Colts or the Texans will do with Nico Collins and putting him on short, slants and crossers to try to get the ball in his hands because he's great with the after the catch stuff. You're going to see them do a lot of that with Nico Collins, and so yeah, Ham, good to see it. I'm a big Ham guy as well. Give me turkey and green bean casserole for the win. See, so many people love green bean casserole. Like, and I know it's like a staple for Thanksgiving, but I am not a fan of green bean casserole. Like, I don't know why. I know, like the other one is stuffing for me that I'm not a fan of, and people will. But I will say that I have not tried stuffing, and probably since I was a kid at all. Like, I haven't even thought of trying it, and it's probably I know that's another staple of Thanksgiving that everybody loves. And it's not a big. I love sweet potato casserole. That's phenomenal. Like mac and cheese is great. Like I don't mind like green beans on their own. Like I like green beans, but like it's just like the green bean casserole thing just doesn't do it for me. I got Drake May and Sam Darnold. Should I drop Sam Darnold to stash Jaden Daniels? I'm fine with that. Like Sam Darnold has been great, but Sam Darnold they just don't throw the ball very much. Now he's going to score touchdowns because JSN is the best wide receiver in the league this year, but um, I still think the upside for Jane Daniels is probably higher. Strange, Hawkinson, Tez Johnson, or Theo Johnson, or Zach Ertz, PPR. I'm going to go, it's close, but give me Theo Johnson with Jackson Dart, who is really starting to develop a rapport with him. Turkey for Thanksgiving, ham for Christmas for me. Yeah, and I know that's like the go-to, I think, for most people when it comes to Thanksgiving and ham. So like, but like we do both. We do turkey and ham on Thanksgiving, and I think a lot of it's because of me. But yeah, Um, and I have no problem. Like I'll go buy ham and bring it if I need to. Because I don't, we usually do it either at my mom's. Like this year, we're going to my sister's house for Thanksgiving, and um, they're going to do it honey baked ham from Honey Baked Ham Company. So uh, love to see it. Never mind. I think my Yahoo league is PPR, so I need to ask again between Marvin Harris Jr. or Johnson in a PPR league, additional points for first downs and 6 point receiving touchdowns. Which I would probably go Marvin Harrison Jr. I think Harris Jr. probably has a safer floor, but I think Johnson has a higher ceiling. So I think it just kind of depends on what you need. I do have Marvin Harrison Jr. ranked higher than Quentin Johnson, though. I will say that. Ham, I'm not. I'm more of a roast pork shoulder. Although if the turkey is fried or smoked, I would take you up on it. Yeah, I mean fried or smoked turkey is really good. I just feel like most of the time with turkey, like that's cooked in an oven, it's just dry as hell. I know people are saying, "Well, that means you haven't had good turkey," but like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like it's just a lot. It's just dry. But I will say, like a fried or a smoked turkey is phenomenal. Like I will eat that for sure. Erd Schultz. Wait, did we already get that? You can. It'd be Theo Johnson, but it's really close. If someone was sending me JT, Ladd, Dak for St. Brown and Bijan, would you take it? My quarterbacks are Bo and Caleb, so I'm kind of hesitant. You definitely drop one of them because you don't need three quarterbacks if you did do it. The thing is, though, with JT, he is on a path to being, you know, like he's putting up like a historic type season. I know he was bad last week against the Chiefs, but I wouldn't expect that the rest of the way. But you're also giving up two studs. Like Ladd's fine, but he doesn't have the type of weekly consistency that St. Brown does. And Bijan is great, but like the Tyler Algier stuff is definitely frustrating with him taking away so much of the goal line opportunities and carries from him. Has definitely been a problem. Where JT, you don't have to worry about that. Hmm. Um, I probably don't do it honestly, and it's more the St. Brown part that I had the problem with. 'Cause I think Ladd is solid for sure, but like he's gonna have weeks where like he's gonna have some weeks where may only give you like 8 or 9 fantasy points. You just don't really have to worry about that all that often with Amon St. Brown. So that weekly consistency that you get from him, I think, is like makes it really tough to move on from him and Bijan. And then I mean JT obviously is I would take JT over Bijan all day. It's not even close, but Justin Jefferson or Clear Shakir. This is crazy that this is even a question, right? But you're not wrong. Like especially with Max Brosmer, like at quarterback. Like where are my wide receiver twos? I don't think I've shown these yet. So I have Justin Jefferson at wide receiver 15, and that might be high, to be honest with you. But it's just, especially like when rookie quarterbacks or young quarterbacks like this come in, they usually tend to just lock on to one guy. And you could see, Justin Jefferson see like 12 targets, where Shakir is much more of just like a safer type play, right? I think he is the floor play here. I mean, the most he scored all year was 20, and that was 1 week against Carolina. But other than that, because he doesn't really score touchdowns, but he's much more of like going to give you 12 to 13 than he's going to give you anything else. So I probably would still go Justin Jefferson, but I get the question of wanting to know because, Max Brosmer starting at quarterback, it just doesn't feel great. Raisin sauce or pineapple sauce for the ham? I've always like a maple glaze with brown sugar and stuff like that on top of it. But I would have to probably go pineapple though. I think that would be the better option for me if I had to choose. Star sit half point PPR: Stafford, Junkins, Jinty, Pickens, Rice, Warren, Collins, Falcons D. Benches: Jaden Daniels, Charbonnet, Bucky, London, Washington, Texans D. So Stafford, we're definitely locking in. I mean, you don't have another option anyways. Jinty, Pickens, Rice, Warren, Collins, Falcons D. I mean, if Drake London was playing, if he played this week, then I would go Drake London over Warren. Which wait, is that Tyler Warren? I guess I didn't think. I was thinking that was Jalen Warren off the top of my head, but no, he's probably. I'm guessing that's Tyler Warren. Now I think through it. So that's that. Never mind. So Nico, I would still stick with Nico Collins. So yeah, I would keep it the way you have it. Actually, I would swap out Bucky Irving um Quinshon Judkins. What worries me about Judkins is he is strictly a first and second down guy. He does not really get much opportunity through the passing game. And if they fall behind, which I expect them to be playing from behind, that he's going to get game scripted out. Like that's why I have Quinshon Judkins is like barely an RB2. Like he's more of an RB3 play for me. Cornbread stuffing, cranberry sauce, smashed potatoes. I like pumpkin rolls and the cheesecake for dessert. I'll have some. Apple pie. So that all sounds really good. I could do that all day. Dak or Stafford, or also Dak or Goff. So it's going to be Stafford and then Dak on the second one. Chris, happy early Thanksgiving. Happy early Thanksgiving 12. Actually, on the East Coast, it is Thanksgiving. So now it's 11:01 here in the Central Time. So East Coast. And I haven't even watched the Stranger Things yet. Like I don't know if you guys are all any of you guys are into Stranger Things, but I haven't got a chance to watch Stranger Things yet because I've been busy. I am looking forward to watching that. Probably won't be able to watch it though until Friday, more than likely, because tomorrow is going to be super busy with football and everything else. So it'll probably be like a Friday evening affair to catch up on Stranger Things. But I am happy that that's out. Need two for following: Pittman, Igbuka, Troy Franklin, or Christian Watson. Give me Igbuka. This is tough. Give me Igbuka and Michael Pittman, but I will say this: I think Christian Watson has a really high ceiling here too. I really like Christian Watson this week as well, and I really like Troy Franklin to be honest with you. Like I really like Franklin and Watson. I'm just worried with game script a little bit more with Franklin and his matchup against the Commanders, but the matchup is awesome. Christian Watson, I think the Packers are going to have to throw the ball tomorrow against the Lions, so I do think Christian Watson makes a lot of sense as well here. But I think Pittman and Book are a little bit safer plays. But if you're looking hurting for ceiling, I would swap out Pittman for Christian Watson. Is Justin Jefferson still considered a must start even with the quarterback situation in Minnesota, or depends on? I think it really depends on who you have for sure. There's some really people that cook a nice juicy turkey in an oven. Not gonna lie. Yeah, I guess it's possible. I don't know. I just feel like the flavor is just not as good. Like I don't know. Like I said though, I am a huge ham guy though for sure. Got Tracy and Devin Neal on my starting running backs. Would you start Monangai over either one of them? I would not. Same here as the same round part of the discussing for me. I don't feel like that. Yeah, I agree. Ted Pittman, Jalen Warren, ETN. Choose one. Choose one. It's going to be Travis Etienne. I'm feeling a Watson boom game tomorrow. Okay, just go all in on him in DFS tomorrow. Then that's another thing I really need to do, though. Honestly, is set some lineups for DFS tomorrow morning. I've done a little bit, but I haven't really gone all in and set all my lineups yet. But for DFS tomorrow, that's the other fun part about tomorrow. Any bad weather games this week? Actually, there might be because I know there's some snow and stuff coming for the northwest or the north over the weekend. Let me check. It's a little bit early for me to, but we'll jump in. See, oh, we got all kinds of action here. It is last week there was nothing. This week it just lit up. So Cincinnati, Baltimore, it's a bit breezy, but neither factor in particularly impactful. Temps in the 30s. Winds around 10 miles an hour. Who cares about that? That doesn't matter. Chicago, Philadelphia, winds at 15 mile an hour. That doesn't really matter. Okay, San Francisco, Cleveland, a decent chance of some rain plus some potent winds. Right now, models are showing sustained winds around 20 miles an hour, gusting up to 35 miles an hour. Those numbers may go up or down a hair, but I do think we end up in a spot that makes deeper throws and kicks a more difficult. So that would make me very low on the passing game, and I'm already low on the passing game for San Francisco. Like I have Brock Purdy at QB 18, and so that would make me even lower on it. I guess it does make Junkins a little bit better of a play because if you're just counting on, it's just going to be a run game. That's what that looks like. You're not going to be able to throw a lot in that game. But that looks like the only like significant one that we really care about. Like Monday night, they're showing temps in the 30s. Can't fully rule out a shower, even snow shower, but that's multiple days away. Buffalo, Pittsburgh, a chance of some rain showers with wind, possible rain game. But it looks like really that San Francisco Cleveland game is the one who really have to probably worry about. Emilio, would you stash a running back next week? Benson, Chris Rodriguez, McLaughlin, or Sampson? I have Travion and CMC on bye. My other running backs are Javonte Swift, Woody Marks. I would stash Trey Benson for sure. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, Super Dave. And I hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving tomorrow. Whether you celebrate it or not, at least we get football all day. And the NFL could not have done a better job than what they did with the games they gave us tomorrow. Like, honestly, can anybody tell me a better Thanksgiving slate of games that we've ever had than this one we're going to get tomorrow? Like, no major injuries to like any of like the quarterbacks. We're getting all of the, quarterbacks on the slate. All three of the games are over 49-point totals. Like, yes, some of these games could not, struggle to get there, and maybe because it's Thursday night, short turnaround. But on paper, this is the best matchups I think we've seen. Quentin Johnson or Troy Franklin? I'm going to go Troy Franklin. 75% chance of rain in Pittsburgh on, yeah. Would you still keep Hunt even if Pacheco starts? I wouldn't say Pacheco's necessarily going to start. I think the Pacheco's going to work in. And the Pacheco's probably going to get a lot of some early down work as well, like base work as well. But it really would come down to who you have, what other options you have. Because I still think, like I said, I still think Hunt gets like the red zone, the goal line work. He's going to get some of the pass catching work for sure, and he's still going to get some carries, but it's not going to be anywhere close to what he did last week against the Colts. I'll say that. Britton Strange or Dalton Schultz, kind of a must win. It's Britton Strange for me. Really like Britton Strange a lot. Try to trade away one of Pittman or Sutton for any of Swift, Warren, or Junkins. I mean, if I can trade away Sutton, I'm going to trade away Sutton. Let's see. Just look at some rest of season stuff really quick. So, all right, what is Cleveland? So Cleveland actually has a pretty solid rest of the season schedule. They have the fourth easiest remaining schedule for running backs. Pittsburgh is about 11th or 12th, and then Chicago is down near more towards the bottom. And we have started to see a little bit more of a shift too with Monangai getting more and more opportunity. I guess I would go with Juckins just because we know he's got to be the goal line. He's got to get that short area stuff. And if I could make the move, I would do Sutton for Juckins for sure. Devin Neal or Woody Marks this week. It's really close to me, but I would still go Woody Marks over Swift, but it is close. Would you start David Montgomery, Neal, Gainwell, or Hunt? Got Gibbs on RB1. Give me Devin Neal. Actually, it's close because I have like basically Neal, Gainwell, and Hunt like really close with each other. I have Gainwell at 30, Neal at 29, and I have Kareem Hunt at 25. So I'd probably go Hunt. It's just he makes a little more sense. Like the scoring environment's definitely going to be there, and they have shown the propensity once they get down to the 1 yard line to give it to Kareem Hunt to score. So like I don't think there's like an incredibly high ceiling for Kareem Hunt tomorrow, but like I think that like 12 to 15 ish is probably in his range of outcomes. Where I think it's a little bit more all over the place for someone like Devin Neal because, like I've said, Taysom Hill is going to take work away on the ground. He's going to be involved in the passing game, and then Gainwell again more game script dependent. But I also think he's a pretty decent play too at flex. But I think I would just go with Kareem Hunt. I'm thinking about trying to swing T Higgins and Bijan for JT and Dak instead. Wide receiver was CD, St. Brown, and Rice. So magician with trades. I would say so. So T is always just my second flex spot. But why the Dak part? I guess. Like I mean, if I remember correctly, I'd have to go back up and see if I can find your team. There you go. You have Bo and Caleb. Like, and I really like Dak. Don't get me wrong. Let me see. I mean, Chicago's. I will say Chicago's playoff schedule is not great. So they get San Francisco, which is actually a really good matchup. Green Bay, not a good matchup, and then Cleveland, not the best matchup. Yeah, it is tough because I mean, even after this week, so Chicago has Green Bay twice over the next 3 weeks, and then Cleveland, and then San Francisco in the fantasy championship. So I guess that does make sense. Like I don't really love Caleb Williams as much with that schedule, so it's just I guess with the wide receivers you have, I guess I would probably do it. Like that's just a phenomenal wide receiver room to be able to have on your team. And like I said, I do like JT more than Bijan Robinson. So for me, that's fine. I just don't like, but you are giving up. I mean, T. Higgins is a pretty, especially with Joe Burrow back, like that could hurt a little bit. Because if something happens to any of these guys, you're going to be in real big trouble. I'm looking forward to tomorrow's slate. I'm digging the Black Friday game. Yeah, the Black Friday game should be fun too. Eagles and Bears, and there's a lot of at stake there for that as well in terms of just overall seeding for the playoffs. Shakir Olave and DJ Moore. It's going to be sit one. Sit DJ Moore. Olave or Diggs, full PPR. Give me Chris Olave. Yeah, Olave, whether it's full PPR, half point PPR, it's going to be Olave. It just dude just sees a ton of targets every single week. No holiday fruitcake for me. I'll watch Macy Parade and 3 football games. Yeah, the Macy Parade's fun too. It's not something I've like. Obviously I've watched it before, but like it's not like a go to thing for me. I'm usually setting like DFS lineups during that time, but I think it used to be better whenever we were younger. I don't know, like or I was younger. I guess like it feels like it's a lot more commercialized now. I guess it probably always has been. Maybe I just realize it now, but I still think it's fun to watch. Do I sit or start Javonte Williams from Dan? It really depends on what other options you have. I mean, that really is what it's going to come down to. Chiefs have been really good against the run, but he's also seeing like an elite workload. But so I think it really comes down to that. Devin Neal or Woody Marks? Give me Woody Marks. Would you trade Junkins and Burrow for Stafford and Benson? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I would. Sorry. I was contemplating because I do really like Joe Burrow because they can get this thing going. I mean, we saw how good Joe Burrow was last year. This defense is still terrible. They're gonna throw the ball a ton. And so, like, I mean, Burrow could really go off. More so for me, I think it's getting Trey Benson over Junkins, just because I think Junkins is limited. Ferguson or Kittle PPR. It's gonna be Kittle. Kittle's my number 2 tight end this week. Mooney or Juwan Jennings. What else to look? I think it's gonna be Juwan Jennings. Yeah. So I have Juwan Jennings at 27. But I'll say though, if that weather holds with what they're talking about, I would go with Darnell Mooney. Because if it's going to be so, like I always say, like anytime when it comes to wind, the only thing I care about is wind, or unless it's like a blizzard or something. But like anything else, it really doesn't matter to me. But if it's over 20 mile an hour sustained winds, I try to stay away from those games because it severely hinders your passing of games. And these teams will just go away from even trying to throw the ball. And so if that holds, which is something I would try to check back on like Saturday or Sunday, which I mean, you don't have to make a decision. Both these guys play on Sunday. So like it's not like you're in a rush like these guys play on Thursday. So I would wait. And if the weather holds there in Cleveland, then I would just go play Darnell Mooney and just avoid that passing game. I have some DK lines, draft some underdog, turkeys to sweat tomorrow. That's love to see it. Even if you've never like or not like a big DFS guy, right? Um, I think even just throwing in a few lineups is always fun. Like there's so many you can play like a quarter entry, you can play 50 cent, a dollar. Like you don't have to go put in like a bunch of money to enjoy it. Like it's a lot of fun to track and get maybe a little bit of a sweat in if you can kind of build a good lineup. But it's certainly not something you have to go, put in a bunch of money on and something like that. So Ashton, happy to see you in here. Appreciate the super chat. Start one full PPR, tight end premium, Strange, Myers, or DK. Give me Britton Strange, especially at a tight end premium. I have him as the top 12 tight end, Ashton. And I do appreciate the super chat as well. It's good seeing you in here too. Enjoy the football tomorrow. I know you're a Canadian, so you guys don't celebrate. Well, I guess you guys do celebrate Thanksgiving, but it's like in October, right? For Canada, whenever you guys celebrate like your version of Thanksgiving. I believe that's correct. It was Josh Allen. I'm smashing immediately. Dak is on the right side as the quarterback that can move the needle for me, I guess. And the Allen owner is still on the fence for other offer. I mean, Dak is solid, right? Dak has been solid for most of the year. Like Dak has been really productive. Like so, like that's that. Like it. It's not necessarily that. It's just generally speaking, quarterbacks aren't something that's going to move the needle for me one way or the other. They're easily replaceable. They're easy to stream. And so, like, unless you're talking about like a couple of the elite quarterbacks, I don't think it's like it's a huge big of a deal. Ken, if we're only choosing one here, it's going to be Travis Kelsey. You think Taysom Hill is a better play versus Fannin? Also, could pick up Gesicki full PPR. I would go Gesicki, honestly. I mean, because Taysom Hill's only going to touch the ball like 4 or 5 times. Now, those 4 or 5 times can come with a touchdown for sure, because he gets like goal line, red zone opportunities. So, but I would probably go Gesicki. Like I've said, I really like my Mike Gesicki tomorrow. Metcalf is in the game. Would you pick up Calvin Austin? No, probably not. I just don't think even if DK Metcalf missed, he possesses much upside. To be honest with you. So Javonte Williams or Hampton, I would go with Javonte Williams. We don't really know what the role is for Hampton, and honestly, we don't necessarily know for sure if Martin Hampton's going to play this week. And so, like, I wouldn't sit Javonte Williams hoping that Hampton plays, and Hampton got ruled out. So I would go Javonte Williams. Would Giddens be would DJ Giddens? Yes, I 100% believe DJ Giddens would be the guy if something happened to JT. I think there are other options there would maintain like a pass catching role, but uh, I think Giddens would be the early down back for sure for Indy if something happened to JT. Like I say, I should stick with my team as it is. I really my only weakest quarterback in this point, but I can ride with Knicks till the end. Yeah, I mean Knicks. I mean, but it's not even that. But like, I believe you have Caleb too, and like Caleb's been like a pretty solid fantasy quarterback. I know he's like top 9 in fantasy points per game this year. So like, he's not been a bad play. Brissett or Drake May? Give me Drake May against the Giants. James Cook or Nico Collins? Give me James Cook. I like Nico Collins, but I'm going James Cook pretty easily there. Tingley, would you rather keep Gatson or Juwan Johnson rest of season Jensen, or keep both and play matchups PPR no premium? I would go Gatson rest of season. Now, if you want to keep both and play matchups, you can do that. But I still prefer I prefer Gatson. I think Gatson's like a top 5, top 6 tight end rest of season. Yeah, Thanksgiving is second Monday. FC. I know my Canadian stuff. Like uh, but but yeah. So, but hey, I mean, you guys still get to enjoy football. I mean, even though you might have to go to work because it's like a normal day, but at least, I mean, while you're at work, you can sit there and watch football all day. So, because I have to work on Friday, and I have to go, and that's what I'm going to do. 2 o'clock, throw on the Eagles and Bears game. So, I'll probably build some showdown lineups and for DraftKings, and then watch that while I do some stuff at work in my office. Gatson, Loveland, Schultz, start one for Danny. It's gonna be Gatson for me. I do like Colson Loveland, but it still would be Gatson for me. Did we already get this one? It's James Cook though. If I didn't, I don't remember. Thanks for the chat, sir. Good luck this week and happy Thanksgiving if you celebrate. Yeah, you the same. You do the same. Good luck this week as well. Hope everybody gets W's. And we're only now 1 more week away till the fantasy playoffs start. So this season has flown by. Like it's crazy. Like I think we have 5 weeks left of the season and of the total and of the fantasy season. So yeah, this is crunch time. Like and another thing, I keep talking about it, but this is a great time to be stashing players. We have no teams on bye this week. We do have 4 more teams left to go on bye next week. But if you're a team that's locked into the playoffs, like this is a great time to be stashing because we're getting to the point now the next week or two that like especially teams that are out of it, like where like it's kind of like with Alvin Kamara, like there's a chance he could get placed on IR, which is pretty much into the season. Like they were getting to that point where some of these teams, like let's say this weekend, Brees Hall, knock on wood, and I don't see anybody get hurt, obviously, but like Brees Hall went down, like he's probably going to get placed on IR. Like we're wrapping up the season, and like so it's a good time to start stashing, handcuff running backs. And so it's kind of what I talked about on the waiver show this week, but really trying to identify the best options that they're good to stash. Like I'm dropping if all my quarterbacks, if I have multiple quarterbacks and I feel great about one of my quarterbacks, I'm dropping that second quarterback unless you have Drake May who's on bye next week. Other than that, like if your team's already went through all their buys, like I'm dropping it. You don't need an extra defense anymore if you can only start one. You really don't need an extra tight end anymore. This is a great time to be doing a lot of those things. So I fully believe that that this is a great time to start doing it. Like it's the best opportunity you can have to be able to set yourself up because we saw this week like Devin Neal, like everybody's scrambling to go pick up Devin Neal, or the week before with Emmanuel Wilson. Like try to get out ahead of the curve and having these guys already on your roster, then you don't have to worry about it. PPR trade Jefferson and Kelsey for James Cook. Yeah, I'm doing that. Yeah, I'm doing that. Jefferson, I just at this point, be able to get anything for him at this point is phenomenal. And if you're getting James Cook, who's been a top 5, top 6 PPR, I mean, running back at PPR leagues, I mean, it's just the only frustrating part with him is just like, can we use him in the passing game? Like, he's a great pass catcher out of the backfield. I don't know where this switched because it's funny because a couple of years ago, before Joe Brady, like it was the other way around. Like he was getting a lot of work in the passing game and he wasn't getting as much early down like base work, and then he wasn't getting goal line opportunities, and like everyone's always never going to be able to score touchdowns. And then it flipped to where now he's getting all the base down stuff, early down work, and he's not really getting as much pass catching work. And like he could be a true three down back, but they just don't utilize him as much in that way. But either way, being next to um, Jonathan or Josh Allen is always going to help. But I would definitely do that for sure for to get James Cook. And Super Dave, I appreciate becoming a member. Yes, do have memberships. I'm terrible at promoting anything or advertising anything. But yes, we have memberships. Try to give preferential treatment to questions on anybody that's a member. Obviously, I wish they would like. Um, I wish they would highlight the members whenever you guys ask questions. That would make it easier. But there is that option. I do appreciate it. Really, really do appreciate it as well. So where was I at? Quarterback rankings for this week are right here. Try to figure out where I was at. Oh, I see where I was at. Or wait, I went way too far. I'm like near the top. Oh, I know right now. Harvey or Rico? This is easily RJ Harvey for me. I have RJ Harvey. He's a borderline top 12 running back for me, but it would go Harvey for me. Sure. 808. Happy Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving to you, 808. Jalen Warren or Josh Jacobs? I'm going to go Josh Jacobs. It's not the best matchup against the Lions, but he just sees such a heavy volume. I would go Josh Jacobs. Walker or Bucky, who's going to likely going to be on a pitch count? I would go Kenneth Walker. It is always frustrating to start Kenneth Walker because Kenneth Walker, losing the touchdowns to Zach Charbonnet trend just gets old. But he is starting to play more and more of the snaps, so that's a positive. But I would still go Walker for this week against the Vikings. Need two flex: Pittman, Devin Neal, Sutton, Debo, Brian Thomas Jr., or Harvey. Harvey's a lock. And then I'm gonna go Michael Pittman. I don't love it, but it's just the other options. Like Sutton, I think would be the next closest to me that I would look, but don't really want to play Harvey and Sutton against the Commanders. I think it would be different if Jaden Daniels was playing. Maybe I would have some little more of an interest that maybe they could push them a little bit, but not Denver at home, like coming off the bye. I would probably I'd rather not do that. And so like I just don't think they're going to push him enough to have to throw the ball at a high enough rate. That's why I love Harvey so much. So I would probably just go Harvey and Pittman. I'm gonna I'm going to get stoned and maybe play some more DFS. Enjoy your holiday. I'm off until Monday. Cheers. Good for you, Super Dave. Enjoy yourself. That's what it's about. Devontae Adams or Nico? Oh man, I believe that's Nico, but we can't play both. Carter, explain to me why we can't get both. Because that's what I would. That's what I would do. Um, Let me see. Pull them up. I do have Nico one spot ahead of Devontae Adams, but it is super close. Because Adams is seeing so much work in the red zone. Like he is like just a monster in the red zone with all the touchdowns that he's scoring, and that's really how he gets there. Nico obviously is the wide receiver one within the offense, but it always worries me though with CJ Stroud on the road. CJ Stroud is much better at home than he is at the road, but I also think that has more to do with him playing in a dome versus playing outside, and I think that affects him more. And obviously, Indianapolis is a dome, so it shouldn't affect him as much. It is super close. I will tell you that I think there's a higher likelihood that Devontae Adams scores a touchdown, especially in a matchup against the Panthers. And this Rams offense has been on an absolute heater. There's also the scenario where Puka Nacua has been a little bit more. I mean, he hasn't been bad by any means, but he's been more of like a middle of the road wide receiver one versus like being that like elite level talent that he was earlier in the year. And so like there's always the scenario where that switches back a little bit. So it is super close to me, but I slightly Nico. But if you wanted to go Devontae Adams, I don't hate it either because it is really close with the two of them. I think you already got that. Baker, Trevor Lawrence, or Caleb Williams. Might try to trade for Brissett or Jack Dart. I mean, if you can acquire Brissett, we're doing it. But as far as the players you have, I would go Caleb Williams. I don't know if Baker Mayfield plays. Because if Baker Mayfield was healthy, I would probably go Baker Mayfield because the matchup is great against the against the Cardinals. But that injury and all that stuff does worry me. I do wonder if we're going to see Teddy Bridgewater this weekend. But if we don't have any like solid, which I guess we should by Friday afternoon, we should have a pretty good idea what's going to happen with Baker at that point. But if we don't, it's still uncertainty. Then I would just play Caleb Williams because obviously you don't have the scenario to be able to wait it through. Danny, Buka, Franklin, Higgins, start one. It's going to be Buka. I don't, like I've said, I don't necessarily love it, but Teddy Bridgewater is at least a competent backup quarterback and get him the ball. Any words with Chase Brown with Samaj? Yes. That's why I have Chase Brown a little bit lower than consensus does. Not like incredibly low, but like I do think there's a scenario where Chase Brown loses, like comes back and he maybe doesn't play the 2 minute work anymore. Because that's what Samaje Perine was doing. He's probably going to lose some third down work. Like it is frustrating because Chase Brown was back to being like the Chase Brown we had late last year with a guy that we thought was going to absolutely crush. Um, so I do think that Perine's going to affect Chase Brown because Chase Brown's been playing like 85, 90% of the snaps. So like he's definitely going to affect him. I just don't know how big of a level because I don't think it's going to go back to being the way that it was necessarily because it was very much like a 60-40 ish almost split between. So I don't think that's going to happen, but I think definitely it's probably going to get more of a like a 70-30 type split for sure. I think is much more likely. So it definitely lowers his overall output a little bit. Peace, Super Dave, and then Franklin or Debo. It's gonna be Franklin for me for sure. Need to drop one for bench spot. Spears, Vidal, or Tucker. I have Bucky PPR. Honestly, if you don't have to make the decision today, maybe you wait until Friday, and if it looks like Hampton's back, you can just drop Vidal. But I mean, Tucker's in the same boat, but I think there's a more likelihood that Tucker sees more base roll. So probably would be Vidal. But I would want to wait to see kind of how this plays out if Hampton plays this week. Because I would hate to just drop Vidal and then Hampton's out this week. And you just dropped a starting running back for against the Raiders for no reason. So I would rather wait it out until to see exactly what's going to happen. And if Hampton isn't back this week and Vidal is going to play, then I probably just drop Tajay Spears, honestly. Who's the first one? Is this supposed to be Franklin? Maybe because there also was Franklin or Debo. Greg, who's the? Oh, Dobbs. Okay, probably autocorrect, right? The worst, especially when you like try to put hell and it autocorrects it to heal. No. Anyway, I would go Quentin Johnson. I don't mind Dobbs, but he is so touchdown dependent. And I will say the Lions are getting back some of their secondary tomorrow. That's kind of been the appeal with them. But they were without Terry and Arnold. He's back now. They also got back to their number 2 corner last week. So like their secondary is going to be better. But like Dobbs, I think is fine. But like he's also very much touchdown dependent. And it's in a spot where the Packers really spread the ball around. So like that's the other part of that as well. And so like I would just go with Quentin Johnson, who are very similar type plays, but I don't think has as much in his way. Yep. Happy Thanksgiving to you as well. So that's the last question. I am looking forward to this week. I think we get football, what, 4 of the 5 next days, right? Thursday, Friday, Sunday, Monday. Yeah. So 4 of the next 5 days. And now I'd say you get it Saturday too with college football if you're into college football. So, but just awesome games pretty much every day. In a PPR, need a wide receiver and a flex. Uh, Price, Slayton, Watson, Hunt. So Watson for me. Who's Price? Am I losing it? Or did you get auto corrected? Go Cowboys, Danny. What are we doing? No. Oh, Pierce. Okay. That makes sense, actually. That I didn't put that together, but I'm guessing that's Alec Pierce. Give me Christian Watson and give me Kareem Hunt. I don't mind Alec Pierce, but it's just there's just volatility there. And so in which there is with Christian Watson too. Don't get me wrong. But I would go Watson and Hunt. Jordan Mason or Algier Sess. It's easily Tyler Algier. Easily Tyler Algier. I mean, we've seen with Mason, like he's gotten run already. Obviously, Aaron Jones has already missed time this year. And Tyler Algier was still the guy. Or not Tyler Algier. Jordan Mason didn't do anything with the opportunities, what I was wanting to say. So like it's easily Tyler Algier. Tyler Algier is already getting run now. And if something happened to Bijan, like he would be a league winner. Like, I think Tyler Algier is going to get it back from somebody next year because he's a free agent after this year. I think somebody's going to give him a real opportunity to be a starting running back next year. I mean, remember his rookie year, he had over 1,000 yards. So, Chris Rodriguez or Algier, I still go Algier because I think that the ceiling is so much higher. And Chris Rodriguez is also just being utilized as a short yardage back, not utilized in the passing. Bob, Neal or Sutton flex? Man, there's so many Devin Neal stuff. I probably go Cortland Sutton, but you know what? No, give me Devin Neal. Yeah, I saw the report today that that he was questionable. It's really not that big of a deal. I don't think. I think he should be fine to play. I think it's more of a maintenance type thing for him today. Wednesdays are always weird when it comes to practices. A lot of teams will give guys rest, especially this late in the season. It's not that big of a deal. Now, if something were to pop up, Thursday, Friday, then maybe we'd be a little more concerned about it. But I personally think that he's probably fine. Goddard or Andrews. It's gonna be Andrews. Yes, completely agree. Leaning Andrews versus Bengals. I mean, you just can't ask for a better matchup for a tight end than the Bengals. I mean, the Bengals allow. Let's see. So the Bengals allow 23.7 fantasy points per game to tight ends. Oh, that's even. Let's do season. So the Bengals allow 22.8 fantasy points per game. Um, and then the next closest team is 17.7 is the next closest team in terms of fantasy points allowed to tight ends. So like they've just been, I mean, they've allowed 13 tight ends. The next closest is seven tight ends touchdowns. They've allowed 13 touchdowns. The next closest is the Jaguars and the Dolphins and the Steelers, who've all allowed seven touchdowns to tight ends. So like it's just an incredible spot for any tight end. Now the frustrating thing would be if it's like Isaiah Likely who goes off instead of Andrews, but Andrews is also very much involved in the red zone and is one of the first players that Lamar Jackson looks for. Need two running backs and a flex. JT obviously yes. Marks, Benson, Sutton, Pierce, and Pearsall. So we're gonna go with JT for sure, and then I'm gonna go with Woody Marks. Or no, give me Trey Benson if Trey Benson plays. If Benson doesn't, then I would go with Woody Marks. And then the flex, give me Cortland Sutton. You know what? No, give me Junkins. Especially with this report that we're saying about the weather. If the weather holds up here in Cleveland and we're going to get 20 plus mile an hour winds with 35 mile an hour gusts, they're not going to be able to throw the ball. And the 49ers defense is pretty banged up. So give me Junkins here because my biggest concern is um, if the 49ers were to build a pretty quick lead on them. But I don't know if you're going to be able to do that with the weather the way that it's looking. So give me Junkins. It was pretty close. So yeah, give me JT Junkins, obviously, and um and Woody or and Trey Benson. If Benson doesn't play, then go Woody Marks. Full PPR flex: Worthy, Ferguson, Bucky, Alec Pierce, Troy Franklin. Pick one. Comes down to Jake Ferguson and Troy Franklin for me. Like Bucky would obviously be the pick but they're saying he's going to be on some sort of a snap count, kind of like Chris Godwin was. It makes sense. He's missed a lot of time. It would be smart probably for them to ramp him up a little bit, especially with the way Sean Tucker's played. And they still have Rashad White. So it could be more of a three-way committee. So I'd want to hold off on that one. Troy Franklin would be the other option. I think he's super intriguing. He's seeing a lot of targets, seeing deep targets. So, he could catch a 40-yard touchdown. So, like, that's in the range of outcomes for sure. But Ferguson's also really heavily involved in the red zone, kind of the safety blanket for Dak Prescott. And so, give me Jake Ferguson. Pitts, Juwan, or Strange. Give me Britton Strange. I have Britton Strange as a top, what? Definitely top 12, but might be top 10. I think it's around 11 or 12. Oh, whoops. Yeah. So I have Britton Strange at tight end 11. So would you go Goddard, Hunt, or Pollard in the flex? I just think Goddard's he's so hit or miss on his targets and how he's utilized in the passing game that I would probably just go Hunt because I think he has a much higher likelihood of scoring a touchdown. Two-time Angry Runs winner. Yeah. Tyler Algier is a dog. Like I really do think that somebody's going to give him some sort of opportunity next year. He deserves it. He is a very good like backup running back for the Falcons. He would start. He should be. There's definitely teams that could use Tyler Algier. Who knows? Javante's a free agent after this year. Maybe they bring in Tyler Algier to be the new running back there in Dallas. But it's also been awesome seeing what Javante Williams has done so far. Should I drop Pitts for Strange? I probably would do that. Like Pitts looks really good, but like also Pitts, like a lot of that came from Michael Penix, who they're like best friends, and they like Michael Penix talked about it in the preseason about wanting to get him going and like wanting to like feature him and want to get him targets, and we've kind of seen it this year from him. But he's also hasn't done anything since week 8. I mean, he scored 7.8, 5.8, 3.4, 4.5. We're going to have Kirk Cousins all year, and the Falcons are actively trying to hide Kirk Cousins. So they're going to try to run the hell out of the football as much as they possibly can. And so I just don't see a lot of big games coming for Kyle Pitts. I mean, really, Kyle Pitts, had a nice start to the year and then has kind of trailed off. Where Britton Strange has been one of Trevor Lawrence's favorite targets when he's been healthy and on the field. So yeah, I have no problem dropping Kyle Pitts for Britton Strange. So that being said, the London Bridge is going down. What do you have? I'm assuming because you said go Cowboys, you're a Cowboys fan. What do you have the score for that Chiefs and Cowboys game tomorrow? Like, what do you think the score is going to be for that game? There, Danny. 34-33 Cowboys. I could definitely see a score like that. I mean, it has a 52-point total on it, so I think there's going to be a lot of passing in that game. So um, maybe. Is it crazy to stream Juwan Johnson over Gatson, Barner, Strange, Fan, and Schultz? My buddy said that the Dolphins were weak against tight ends. Your buddy is correct. The Dolphins are weak against tight ends. The Dolphins will actually allow the uh, third most PPR points to tight ends. They allow 17. They're one of the couple teams that allow 7, which is the second most tight end or touchdowns to tight ends this year. They've also allowed 760 yards, 7 touchdowns, 17 fantasy points per game to to opposing tight end. So it is a good spot. But I mean, Gatson's also in a really good spot against the Raiders. And so I would go with the Raider. I would go with Gatson over Juwan Johnson. But if your gut's telling you to go with Juwan Johnson, go with Juwan Johnson. Like, I'm not going to hate you for it. Like, the matchup is great. Um, like, I get it. but I would still lean Gatson. I think he has a little bit higher of a ceiling. We'll come down to the kickers. Bucker or Aubrey. Both really good kickers. I mean, Bucker has struggled at times this year. But Aubrey is just a freak. He's phenomenal. Like he is the man. I know he missed one. What was it last week that he missed one against the Eagles? I think it was, but pretty uncharacteristic for him. Keenan Allen or Terry rest of season. I mean, with Jane Daniels back, I'd probably say Terry McLaurin, but I I don't know if this dude's gonna be able to stay healthy. I mean, the last time he came back, he wasn't able to stay healthy. He got played 1 or 2 games. Then he got I think it was 1 game, and then he got hurt again. If Amari Hampton plays, that would be hard for Gatson to get touches with the amount of mouths the Chargers get. I mean, but we've seen Gatson. I mean, he is routinely been. I mean, the person who probably hurts more than anything is Keenan Allen because Keenan Allen has seen a reduced role for the most part. He's at some games here or there. That But I mean, Gatson's out here running a ton of routes and he's being utilized and seeing. I mean, since he's really come on, he's seen 5 or more targets in every single game. And so, like, we've seen how good he can be. He's great with yards after the catch. He's phenomenal there. So, like, the only thing you'd probably be worried about, I guess, would be maybe if they're able to just really control the Raiders. The Raiders don't do anything offensively, and they don't really have to throw the ball at a high rate. Like, that's the one area that you probably could say, right? But it's also going to be a problem too. The other consideration you have is that the Chargers' offensive line is completely banged up, and the Raiders have actually been like. I know people are going to just think the Raiders all the time. They think the Raiders are bad against the run. The Raiders have actually been really good against that is not a problem for them. So that's why I always prefer to play the passing game side versus playing running backs against the Raiders because the Raiders have been a pretty good run defense this year. Um, they don't quite get the credit for it just because I think most people just assume the Raiders are just bad all around. Um, but they've been pretty good against the run. So touchdowns is where that's gotten them, but that's more so because just how bad their offense is, and they're always on the field, and teams are able to score touchdowns against them. Over on Twitch, Mechie, Greg Dortch, or Dylan Sampson. No, I'm gonna go with Marvin Harrison likely back. I'll go with Mechie. Yeah, I have Strange ranked at 11. Yeah. Browns, Rams, or Ravens? Give me the Rams. I don't hate that 808, honestly. If you want to go Strange over Pittman, like I have no problem with playing multiple tight ends in a lineup. With Hampton, will open up the play action for Gatson. I mean, yeah, but it all. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure how much. Like I don't think he comes back to the same role that he had. Like he was basically the complete workhorse, at least to start. I think there's a more scenario where Kamani Vidal is taking some touches away from him because prior to the game where he got hurt, I mean he was playing the 2 weeks prior to that, week 3 and 4. He was playing 80 and 88% of the snaps. I mean he was handling all the touches, and he was being heavily utilized in the passing game. Like I do think there's a scenario where Kamani Vidal handles some of the pass catching work and some of the third down work to not just completely, you know, I don't see them putting Hampton back in there and playing that. I would say it's probably more in the range of outcomes where he plays like 60% of the snaps, 65% of the snaps to start, and then you ramp him up. Also, I have 3 quarterbacks in a 1 quarterback league: Dak, Lamar, and Joe Burrow. Should I drop one or just hold them So no one else gets them. Is your trade deadline passed? If it hasn't passed, maybe you look to trade one of them. Because I would hate to drop any of those 3, honestly. And a one quarterback because I just don't wouldn't want to help somebody else out. Because all of them are like top 10 quarterbacks every single week. So if your trade deadline hasn't passed, maybe you try to flip one of them. It's almost Thanksgiving here in Texas. 7, yeah, I guess it is. We've almost got here. Been doing this for over 2 hours now, but 12 hours away to kick off from the Lions game, actually, from the Lions and Packers. So I'm thankful for this podcast. I appreciate that. It's been a lot of fun this year, and it really has. Like normally, years past, it's always been me and another person doing it, me and Cody. But he had a bunch of family stuff, work stuff come up, so he had to step away for it this year. So it's just been me doing it. But I've definitely enjoyed doing this. And this is my favorite one to do every week is doing this live stream, be able to talk to people and help people. So I do appreciate everybody being in here. Appreciate everybody rocking with us. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate the likes and the subscribes and everybody watching the videos this year. It's been a lot of fun, but we're not done yet because we got to win some championships. That's now what we're here for. So um, appreciate your insight. I appreciate you guys being here. Appreciate the questions. I'm a Texas guy. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Yeah, I am not a Texas guy. I guess I'm on the minority. I am from Kansas City. So um, go Chiefs. But I will say though, it was nice. It really was nice to see the Cowboys come back and beat the Eagles last week. So that was definitely a positive for me to watch that. Because anytime that you can see Nick Sirianni cry on the sidelines and throw a fit, I am about it for sure. So it was good to see the Cowboys come to life. And I'll say that the Cowboys defense is much better after the trades they made. I know a lot of people bagged on Jerry Jones about the trades that he made for giving up what they did. Um, but I mean, if it works out, it works out. I mean, it looks like he's made some good trades. I mean, getting George Pickens from the Steelers was an absolute fleece. And it's absolutely hilarious to me that the now that all the talk has been like with the Steelers has been, oh, well, they just need another wide receiver. Well, they had one, but they decided to trade him for a third round pick. And now George Pickens, which we've always known George Pickens was really good, but he was finally unleashed this year. So that's plus. But then on the defensive side of the ball, getting Quentin Williams was huge and has really made their defense look significantly better, especially their run defense, which was an absolute just turnstile. But even their with them being able to get pressure on the quarterback, it's helped their secondary. This defense is not as bad as it was early in the season. So, I mean, kudos to that. Now we'll see if the Jerry Jones does the right thing and actually tries to sign George Pickens, but I don't know. I know he said he'll probably end up franchise tagging him, pissing him off. To be honest with you. Yeah, Texas Tech. Yeah. Where is he? I think he's from. Is he from Austin? I can't remember what. I don't even know. I don't think he's from Austin. Tyler, Texas. That's where he's from. Oh, he was born in Tyler, Texas. He's from White House, Texas. I like Joe Milton as a dude's got a cannon. Is what he's got. Well, I guess this is turning into the Cowboys podcast, I guess, or Cowboys show. So that being said, I guess I could wait for another minute until it's actually Thanksgiving. Um, but other than that, yeah, I hope everybody has a great Thanksgiving. Enjoy the football, the food, be safe. Don't all the things. Don't drink and drive. Don't eat and drive 'cause you might fall asleep. But yeah, and enjoy the football tomorrow. It's gonna be a lot of, like I said, great games. I'm looking forward to every single one of those games. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Then we get another game on Friday, and then Sunday, and then Monday. So I'll be honest, the Sunday games aren't nearly as good. It's kind of a letdown because how good the Saturday games are, how good the Thursday games are. But like they definitely took like the three best games for this spot and put them in there. So the rest of the slate isn't as exciting, but still will be some good football to watch tomorrow. And I'm looking forward to eating some food for sure. So that being said, I think I'm going to try to get out of here because it's officially Thanksgiving here in the Midwest. It's like 9 seconds away from midnight. So been here for over 2 hours. So that being said, I'm gonna get out of here. Appreciate all the support. Appreciate all the like, subscribe. I appreciate it, really do. I am thankful for each and every one of you that come in here every single week and ask questions and make this fun and keep the chat going. So I do appreciate that. Um, but I hope everybody has a good day tomorrow. Let's get some W's this week. We're right on the cusp of the fantasy playoffs. I appreciate it. Again, happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you. Well, actually, if you're into DFS, we'll be live Friday night for the DFS main slate breakdown, and then I'll be back again Sunday night for the Week 14 waiver wire show. So have a good night. Have a good Thanksgiving. Have fun with your friends and family tomorrow, and enjoy the football. Let's get some dubs. Bye.